You know, I thought after the absolute shit show that was Most Wanted 2012, that it was going to be the end of it. Ghost Games was going to take over the development for Need for Speed, make some great Need for Speed games, and things will be back to the way they should be like in the good old days. But never in my goddamn wildest furry Negro nightmares did I think that EA will pull a Black Box 2.0 and let Criterion Games take over the development for Need for Speed. The game studio isn't shit. It's really not. Yeah, sure, for a company that was known for making legendary Burnout games back on the original Xbox, and also the most recent Burnout game, Burnout Paradise. Yeah, sure, it was a great development team, but I wouldn't even say that it was better than Black Box Studios, who was in charge of making Need for Speed Most Wanted 05 and Need for Speed Carbon, which was the follow-up to Need for Speed Most Wanted, and my personal favorite, Need for Speed The Run. And I definitely damn for sure say that it wasn't better than Ghost Games, who have made the past 4 Need for Speed games, and they all been pretty good, to me at least. So what I'm trying to figure out is, why in the hell is EA about to shut down Ghost Studios after their sales on Need for Speed has been good in the past 6 or 7 years, and actually has been great with Need for Speed Heat sales? So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. And as you can tell from the tone of my voice, I'm relatively pissed off right now, and rightfully so, because I recently discovered that Ghost Games is probably going to get shut down because of EA's crappy decisions, or one of their most recent crappy decisions, and let Criterion Games take over the next Need for Speed game when it's come to actually reveal the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox. Now, I'm going to bring up and reference multiple articles in this video, and all of them will be down in the description down below. And I'm also going to read off The Verge mostly, but I'm going to read off EA's statement about this whole entire thing on carthrottle.com, and I'm going to have all three. I'm actually going to have an additional article in the description down below from Gaming Industries. So if you guys want to check that out for yourselves, because this is 100% real, and this has been talked about by all your favorite YouTubers. So, and I may as well talk about this, because I think as a Need for Speed veteran like myself, I have a say in what I think about this most recent decision. Now, I'm going to read off The Verge, and I'm also going to actually leave up some of the screenshots up here on screen right now so I can read as you're going along. Now, the title says, EA resigns future Need for Speed projects to Burnout developer Criterion Games. Criterion takes the wheel again. Now, to start off this article, it says EA says that the future games in Need for Speed series will be developed by Criterion Games, while the series previous developer Ghost Games will be rebranded as a support studio to aid in various projects under the EA umbrella, according to Gaming Industry Biz. Criterion Games is best known for creating the Burnout series. However, the studio previously produced 2 games in the Need for Speed series: 2010's Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, which was pretty good, and 2012's Need for Speed Most Wanted. That shit was absolute dog shit, which are some of the more popular installments in the franchise. Okay, first of all, I want to cut off there by saying this: Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 was pure fucking dog shit. Okay, there's a reason why people do not talk about Most Wanted 2012 anymore in the Need for Speed franchise, because they sold us on the fact that it was a supposed sequel to the original Most Wanted. Well, meanwhile, the OG fans know that the sequel to Most Wanted was Need for Speed Carbon. And I wouldn't even say that it was supposed to be a sequel, because like, it wasn't even about earning your bounty or anything. Yeah, it was supposed to be, but at the same time, that was a true sequel to Most Wanted 05. And I don't ever want to hear anybody say that Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 was popular, because it really wasn't. Because the only customization that you actually had in that game was to change the paint color on your car. The fucking paint color. You couldn't even change up the bumpers. You couldn't even change up the rims. You can't even change the rim colors. You can't even tint the windows. You can't do anything aside from change the paint color. So I don't want to hear anybody say that Most Wanted 2012 was popular. I just had to get that off my chest real quick, because that shit low-key triggered me. But I'm going to continue on with this article. So, personally, I felt, and this is the article writer's words, not mine. Personally, I felt that 2012's Most Wanted was a high point in the series because it felt like a spiritual sequel to Burnout while maintaining the identity of Need for Speed. Meanwhile, my editor Sean says 2005's Most Wanted was his everything and refuses to acknowledge the sequel, but because Criterion's Burnout 3 Takedown is his favorite racer of all time, both of us are actually pretty excited to see what the studio does with Need for Speed now. Ghost Games took over Need for Speed in 2013 with the release of Need for Speed Rivals, which was received well, but the next two games were met with mixed reviews. The most recent installment, Need for Speed Heat, has fared a bit better though. As our sister site Polygon points out, Criterion has actually spent its recent years as a support studio for EA's other franchises, creating the Star Wars Battlefront series, much loved Space Battles, and Battlefield 5's epic Firestorm Battle Royale mode. It will be neat to see the studio build its own games again. Now, that's the end of the Verge's article. Now, I have a couple things to say about this. And yes, the writer in this article, he says that and he couldn't even explain it better than myself. Like, he basically said that Most Wanted 2012 was just a Burnout game with the Need for Speed trademark on the box. That's pretty much what he said. And the Need for Speed community is mostly in agreement that Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 is EA's biggest fuck up so far. And there's a reason why most people do not even speak about the game anymore, especially since we actually grew older and became more OGs of the franchise when we grew up on other games like Need for Speed Underground, Underground 2, Most Wanted, Carbon, all those other games. And when we sat back and played Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012, like, we just sat there and realized, what the fuck are we playing? And now the next article that I'm going to bring up right now is from Car Throttle, and I'm just going to bring up a couple lines and a couple paragraphs from this article, and then I'm actually going to get to the important stuff about this article, and it gives EA's statement about this whole entire thing. So, Car Throttle states, EA is closing Need for Speed developer Ghost Games. Gaming giant EA is to hand control of the Need for Speed franchise back to Criterion, dissolving Ghost Games altogether. EA is shutting down the game studio that has developed the last 4 Need for Speed titles, putting 30 jobs at risk. Ghost Games is to be dissolved, with its Swedish premises turned into a game engineering hub to assist development right across the EA portfolio. Alright, now, and this is what I'm also going to read off for you guys, and this is EA's statement, and I'm also going to bring this up on screen right now. So, and this is also from Car Throttle, so if you guys want to see this for yourselves and read this for yourselves without me reading it for you, you guys are welcome to. It's in the link down below. So, what EA has to say is, with a strong history and passion for racing games and vision for what we can create, the Criterion team is going to take Need for Speed into the next generation, EA stated. Ghost Games have helped to bring some great Need for Speed experiences to our players. Consistently delivering AAA levels means we need teams with diverse skill in locations where we can continually support them and bring in new team members to join. Despite our efforts to establish an independent development group in Gothenburg over several years, it's become clear that the breadth of talent we need to maintain a full AAA studio is just not available to us there. Criterion can provide the consistent leadership that we need to continue creating and delivering new Need for Speed experiences for a long time to come. Criterion is a fantastic studio, and we're looking forward to adding to their talented team and building a great future for Need for Speed. The engineering teams in Gothenburg are also vital to our ongoing plans across EA. And that's the end of the article. And now you guys already know what I'm honestly about to go with this. Now I said a little bit of what I had to say earlier in this video, but here's my thought process about this whole entire thing. Now, remember back in the day, right? Remember back in like 2011, 2012, right? EA Black Box got shut down. And you know, EA Black Box was actually responsible for creating Most Wanted 2005, Carbon, The Run, and also my favorite franchise, the EA Skate franchise, EA Skate 1, 2, and 3. They all got shut down, and we actually can never see that studio ever again. They have never made any other games, at least not that I know of. And this situation right here is honestly making me believe that this is like Black Box 2.0 because they brought in Ghost. The reason why they brought in Ghost was because Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 was pure fucking dog shit, and the community was split half and half between it being a terrible game and it being a relatively good game. Now for me, I was sort of neutral about it because I was sold on the fact that it was a Most Wanted game disguised as a Burnout game. That's my whole entire thing about this. And then my thing about them shutting down Ghost Games is that I don't understand how they can shut down Ghost Games when they made 4 great Need for Speed titles. Now, Payback is a little bit on the fence depending on like your personal experiences with the game, but to me it was still a decent game, but not one to remember. But still, the other 3 games, Rivals, the reboot 2015 Need for Speed, and Need for Speed Heat, which is my favorite out of all of them, they have made great games in the past 7 or 8 years. And I don't understand why they're getting shut down and why Criterion is gonna take the wheel, no pun intended, on Need for Speed. That's my whole entire thing about it. And then my thing about this is that Criterion, they have no experience with customization or cosmetic items for Need for Speed. Need for Speed has always been about like driving the fastest cars, having like tuned out cars, having customizable options. You can customize the cars in any way that you want. You can do whatever you want to the car, like depending if the options are there. So my thing is, Criterion games with their Burnout games, they never had that option there. None of the cars in the Criterion games was actually customizable, at least not to my knowledge, because I played majority of the Burnout games and not one time have I seen any customization options aside from the paint colors. So I don't understand what they're gonna try to do now. It's not to say, and I'm not trying to knock Criterion games, but there's a reason why people prefer Ghost Games over Criterion games right now, was because Ghost Games, they brought in something and they actually took a chance and actually rebooted the franchise, and to me, I think they saved the franchise almost. So, to me, I feel like that this is a slap in the face to Need for Speed fans, and especially it's a kick in the teeth to me, because we all know how we truly feel about EA. Their true colors have shown a long time ago. We all know that they're all about the money. We all know that EA is all about making their money for the year, or probably for the next 2 years. We all know this. This is a meme by now. But for the simple fact that they're throwing away a good game development team that made 4 Need for Speed games that was relatively good for everybody in the Need for Speed community, and especially to me, this is a kick in the teeth to me, because I put my last bit of hope in Need for Speed and EA, that hoping that they would still make great Need for Speed games and still make great Need for Speed games for years to come, despite the allegations and despite the accusations against them with the whole loot box gambling situation that they're federally being investigated by. I put my last bit of trust in them, and they turn around and do this shit. They sit up here and do this shit to me. That's crazy, bruh. That is seriously crazy. And then the thing that pisses me off the most about this whole entire thing is that not only that they betrayed me, they betrayed a lot of other fans like me that enjoys this franchise, that enjoys Ghost Games. Because Ghost Games, they're a good development team. They made great Need for Speed games. And the fact that they're about to get the black box treatment is honestly making me sad, angry, frustrated, and everything. Now, who knows? Criterion Games may be the next Ghost Games. Who knows? Because Ghost Games, in their first Rivals game, they barely even had any customization. Yeah, there was customization there, and you can actually create your own wraps and everything, and change up the paint colors and the rims and everything. But they took it a step forward with Need for Speed 2015, and they brought in a whole bunch of aftermarket body parts and customization options to the cars, and that's what really made us fall in love with Ghost Games and fall in love with Need for Speed again. And that's what really saved the franchise, to me at least, and that's what really made us feel that Need for Speed was actually going to get back on its feet after so many amounts of years. But who knows, maybe Criterion Games actually has something up their sleeve. Maybe they're actually working on customization in their game, in their upcoming game for 2021 onto the next generation of platforms. So I actually want to see it. If it's like Burnout, I'm going to be super pissed. But if it's like the past 3 Need for Speed games, honestly, I wouldn't be mad at it. I will actually give it a try. But only God knows what's actually gonna come with Need for Speed in the future, now that Criterion is behind the wheel of the franchise now. But that's all I just wanted to say, man. I know this has turned into a rant, and honestly, y'all like when I actually rant, so I'm actually not concerned about that. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments down below. How do you guys feel about this whole entire situation? I actually want to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments down below. But with that out of the way, this your boy Gwop. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're new, and I'm out, bruh.